Discover the heartwarming reason Billionaire found Maid's daughter, 12, washing dishes at 3 a.m. Ethan Parker, the self-proclaimed king of million-dollar deals, came home late one night, thinking only of the lavish life he had built. The soft glow of the streetlights illuminated the million-dollar mansions that lined his suburban neighborhood, lulling him into complacency. But tonight wouldn't be just an ordinary night. As he stepped into his sprawling home, he expected silence. Instead, it struck him like a jolt of electricity, the sound of scrubbing. He followed the noise into the dimly lit kitchen, and there, under the flickering fluorescent light, was Mia, the maid's 12-year-old daughter, hunched over the sink, a stack of dishes shimmering in the soapy water. "Why are you up at this hour?" he asked, the words slipping out before he could think. The sight of her, barely tall enough to see over the edge of the sink, tugged at something deep within him. There was her tiny frame, silhouetted by the gleam of polished plates, scrubbing with a fierce determination that felt almost heroic. "I wanted to help my mom," Mia replied, looking up with wide eyes filled with a maturity that surprised him. The conversation took on a life of its own. As she dried her hands and began recounting her family's struggles, her voice, soft yet tenacious, wove a tapestry of resilience. "We're immigrants," she revealed. "My mom works 2 jobs. I want things to be better for us." Each word she spoke dug deeper into Ethan's heart, exposing the raw, painful disparities that separated them. They began to share meals in those quiet early hours, steaming bowls of instant noodles, a few grains of hope sprinkled in. Each late-night conversation felt like a bridge between their worlds, with Mia revealing dreams bigger than the confines of her kitchen. She wanted to be a doctor, to help others, and for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt something shift within him. He poured into their shared moments, laughter floating around them, sparking a friendship that blossomed in the shadows of the mansion. Yet within his chest grew a tightness, a nagging uncertainty. Here he was, a billionaire, while Mia fought the internal battles of a marginalized life. Their bond flickered with the horrifying truths he knew he couldn't ignore. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Mia's mother fell seriously ill. The weight of the world pressed down hard on Ethan's shoulders. He wanted to help, to do something meaningful, but the guilt of his own past surfaced, memories of hardships he'd done everything to escape. Should he extend a hand, break the invisible barriers of their class divide, or retreat to the comfort of his wealth? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With the crisis looming, Ethan stood at a crossroads, his heart pounding and his mind racing. He thought of Mia, her small figure working tirelessly for a future she believed in, while he clung to his status for dear life. Would he risk it all to uplift not just Mia, but a family fighting to hold on? As the sun rose, the weight of his decision hung heavy in the air, leaving the question unanswered. Would he choose compassion, step into a world he once ignored, or remain chained to his life of privilege? The potential for transformation loomed at the horizon, dazzling yet terrifying. What would Ethan decide? The air felt thick with expectation, the kind that surrounds a storm just before it breaks. Ethan could hardly focus as he drove to work, the usual drone of the radio drowned out by a constant echo of Mia's dreams and struggles. Each word replayed in his mind like a soft refrain, igniting a flicker of resolve he hadn't felt in years. At the office, the million-dollar deals seemed pointless in comparison to the life unfolding in the shadows of his mansion. He looked around at his suits and ties, the very symbols of success that now felt like shackles. His heart ached for Mia's purity, her fierce dedication to her family. He could feel her there, at the back of his mind, urging him to confront the world he had crafted for himself, a world that felt emptier by the day. Against his better judgment, Ethan found himself distracted. He excused himself from meetings, tapping compulsively at his phone, checking for updates on Mia's mother. Was she feeling any better? Did they need anything? He wasn't just worried. He felt compelled to act. The luxury of his lifestyle felt undeserved while families like Mia's fought for survival. As the clock ticked down to the end of the workday, a plan began to crystallize in his mind. The urgency propelled him out the door and toward the local hospital, where Mia's mother had been admitted. He could almost hear Mia's small, determined voice whispering the word help in his ear, pushing him forward. Arriving at the hospital, the antiseptic smell and the dim lighting hit him with a mix of apprehension and purpose. He approached the reception, his heart racing. "I'm here to see Mrs. Ramirez," he said, his voice steady despite the nagging doubts swirling inside his chest. After a brief wait, a nurse led him down the sterile corridor. The walls seemed to close in, echoing the silent struggles of those within. As he entered the room, Ethan felt an uneasy knot tightening in his stomach. There lay Mia's mother, frail and asleep, with sad lines of worry etched across her face. A wave of guilt washed over him. He pulled up a chair beside her bed, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Just as he took a deep breath to steady himself, the door creaked open. Mia stepped in, her face a mix of fatigue and distress. Yet there was a hopeful glint in her eyes the moment she spotted Ethan. "Mr. Parker?" Her voice cracked, and his heart splintered at the sight of her bearing such burden at her young age. She rushed to her mother's side, gently taking her hand. Ethan watched as she smoothed the blankets, her little shoulders trembling with unspoken fears. "Mia, he started, but the words failed him. How could he offer help when he could barely articulate his own urgency? He knew in that moment, more than anything, he wanted her to know he was there for them. "Mr. Parker," she said, her voice calm yet earnest, cutting through the heaviness in the room. "Will things be okay?" The question hung in the air, so profound it felt like a punch to the gut. Ethan felt the walls press closer. Could he assure her? With the failures of his past racing in mind, he could barely find the strength to speak. But he needed to strive for more than himself. He needed to be more. Standing there, looking into Mia's expressive eyes, he realized the choice was no longer just about class or wealth. It was about humanity, about connection. He took a step forward, closing the distance between them, and whispered, "We'll get through this together." As Mia turned to him, hope flickering anew in her gaze, Ethan's heart surged with the promise of change. But deep inside, he questioned whether he was truly ready to hold up his end of the deal. What would the next step mean for both of them? And as the hospital lights hummed softly above them, Ethan wondered if the choices he was about to make could bridge the chasm between their worlds, or if they would only reveal how far apart they really were. Ethan could feel the weight of Mia's gaze on him. It was as if she could read every doubt swirling in his mind. He wanted to promise her the world, but what he really needed was to know how to start making that promise real, to change the way things were for both of them. "I'm here for you and your family," he added softly, nearly trembling under the intensity of Mia's hope. Mia nodded, her hand still resting on her mother's, and in that moment Ethan could sense a shift. It was subtle but powerful, like a flower beginning to bloom amidst the cold of winter. "That really means a lot," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of machines. "I just want her to be okay." He watched her and felt his heart swell with admiration. How could someone so small carry so much? The weight of the room was still heavy, but with Mia next to him, it seemed a little lighter, like they were lifting each other just by being together. "We'll figure something out," he affirmed, determined. Suddenly, the door swung open again, breaking the fragile moment. A doctor entered, his glasses perched low on his nose. "Mr. Parker, I see you've met Mia," he said, offering a polite nod. "I wanted to discuss Mrs. Ramirez's condition with you both." Ethan's chest tightened. He felt unprepared to hear what news the doctor might share, but he wanted Mia to feel supported, so he took a deep breath and nodded back, meeting her worried eyes with a reassuring smile. "Her situation is serious, but we're doing everything we can," the doctor explained, his words methodical but kind. "She's stable for now, meaning we have time to explore the right treatment options. However, it's crucial that she stays supported emotionally during this time." Mia's fingers tightened around her mother's hand, anxiety flaring in her body. Somehow, just being there for her mother didn't feel like enough now. She looked up at Ethan as if searching for something. Do you think she can get better?" she asked. Ethan opened his mouth, but stalled for a moment. The truth was uncertain, swirling with the doctor's clinical tones. But then he remembered how Mia never backed down from a challenge. I believe she can fight this. With love and support, people can overcome incredible odds. Mia nodded, absorbing his words like a sponge. Silently, they formed a pact at that moment. She was ready to fight. More importantly, she felt empowered to hope. And somehow, amid all the uncertainty, Ethan felt the same way. As they shared a moment of understanding, Mia's mother stirred slightly, and Mia turned quickly to brush a strand of hair from her mother's forehead. "I'm here, Mom," she murmured. The three of them were caught in a collective heartbeat, a desperate reminder of life's fragility. Ethan's phone buzzed in his pocket, pulling him out of the emotional vortex. He glanced at the screen and frowned. It was a notification from his business. He hesitated, feeling the pull of his work and the obligations tethering him to his previous life. But then he thought of Mia and her family. None of that mattered when balanced against their reality. "I'll be right back," he said gently to Mia, tossing the phone into a nearby pocket as he stepped outside the room. He needed a moment to breathe, to figure out his next steps, not just in business, but in life. The corridor felt endless as Ethan walked, but each step became clearer in purpose. He needed a change, no more pushing aside responsibility. He took a deep breath and tried to focus on what he could give, rather than what he had lost. Returning to the room, Ethan shared a determined look with Mia. "I have to do more," he articulated, the words just coming to him as he spoke, "and I want you to help me." The earnestness in his words wrapped around them like a cloak, merging their worlds. Mia blinked, a mix of surprise and curiosity crossing her features. "How can I help?" she asked, her voice regaining that spark of bravery. Ethan leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Let's find a way together." "This is a beginning, Mia. I see you. I see your family, and I want to make this right." But even as the words settled, another thought crept into his mind. What would they need to sacrifice to reshape their lives? Would he be able to step back into his own world after embracing theirs? He knew there were decisions to make, roads to explore, and just like that, the horizon felt both magnificent and terrifying. As the heartbeat of hope grew in his chest, he wondered, was he ready to break free from his past, or would he falter when it mattered most? As uncertainty loomed larger than life, he realized the path ahead would be anything but easy. Yet, with new resolve, he asked himself one more question. How far was he willing to go for Mia's family? Ethan stepped back into the room, determined to keep the light of hope burning between them. Mia was still at her mother's side, her fingers brushing through the older woman's hair with a tenderness that made Ethan's heart ache. It was a beautiful sight, yet it reminded him of the urgency of their situation. He wanted to be the anchor for Mia, but he wasn't sure where to start. "Let's try to think of things we can do," he suggested, settling into a chair beside Mia. "What does your mom love? Maybe we can bring some of that to her." Mia paused, her gaze shifting from her mother to Ethan. "She loves gardening," she said slowly. "It's her escape. When she's with her plants, nothing else matters. I used to help her all the time." Ethan felt a spark ignite inside him. "Then let's bring a garden to her, even if it's just a pot of flowers for now. Something she can see when she wakes up." Mia's eyes lit up, the flicker of excitement momentarily lighting up the shadowy corners of the room. "That could work. We can get some flowers and decorate her space, and I could talk to her about them like we used to." "Exactly," Ethan said, a smile growing on his face. "It would be like bringing part of the outside in." The small smile on Mia's face told him his words had struck a chord, but then the weight of reality came crashing back. "But how will I pay for flowers? I can't—" "Let's not worry about that for now," Ethan interrupted gently. "I'll take care of it. You just focus on being there for her." Mia looked hesitant, her brow furrowing in thought. "What will you tell your business? Don't you have deadlines or meetings?" Ethan shook his head, resolute. "None of that matters right now. I want to help you and your family through this, whatever it takes." Mia's eyes glistened with unshed tears, but they weren't tears of sorrow. They were tears of gratitude mixed with disbelief. "Do you really mean that?" "Absolutely," Ethan replied, feeling the sincerity of his promise. Yet a nagging thought whispered at the back of his mind. What would he have to give up to help Mia? The door creaked open again,
this time revealing a nurse carrying a small tray of water and medication.
The warm, sterile air shifted, reminding them of the environment they were in. The nurse gave a friendly nod as she carefully placed the items beside Mia's mother. Ethan watched Mia's expression change as she leaned closer to her mother. "I just want you to wake up, Mom," she declared, her voice now firm, tinged with determination. "I need you to be okay." The nurse paused, her smile softening. "We're doing everything we can. Just keep talking to her. It helps more than you know." Mia nodded, her demeanor shifting into one of fierce resolve. Ethan felt a rush of admiration. Here was this young girl, standing strong for her mother when she should be vulnerable, when so much was at stake. After the nurse left, Ethan sat back, letting Mia embrace the moment with her mother. He watched them, marveling at how connected they were, even in silence. This was what family meant, being there for each other, showing love in the simplest ways. The hallway was quieter now, and for a brief moment, peace enveloped them. But just as quickly, the heaviness of reality seeped back in like a sudden chill. "What about your life, Ethan?" Mia asked suddenly, breaking the stillness. "Your job? Your future?" The question hung in the air, heavy. Ethan had been avoiding thinking about his life, but now it felt unavoidable. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I focused on work for so long, but now I have to wonder what truly matters. I want to be here for you, but I have to think about what that means for my own life." Mia's gaze was steady, and in that moment, he could see the understanding flickering in her eyes. "You don't have to have all the answers. Just be here, okay?" Ethan nodded slowly, feeling the bond they were forming deepen. "I promise." But as he swallowed hard, the weight of unforeseen challenges loomed ahead. What if being there for Mia meant losing parts of himself he wasn't ready to let go of? In the silence that followed, with only the beeping machines for company, the question echoed in his heart. How would he navigate these new waters? And would his choice to help Mia truly reshape their lives for the better? Ethan sat in the quiet room, feeling the pulse of uncertainty thumping in his chest. The light from the small lamp cast soft shadows, creating a cocoon of intimacy around Mia and her mother. Everything outside felt distant now, just echoes of a life that seemed to fade away with every tick of the clock. "Ethan," Mia said, pulling him from his thoughts. She was searching for something in his eyes, something solid, something reassuring. What if this is all my fault? I should have done more, been there more." The vulnerability in her voice was painful. He could see the weight on her shoulders, the burden of blame twisting tightly around her heart. "Mia, no," he replied gently. "You can't think that way. You were there for her. You still are. Just being here makes a difference. You think so?" She looked up, her eyes shimmering like the stars he had grown up admiring. "Absolutely. Love has a way of breaking through even the toughest silence," Ethan said, feeling his own heart tighten. Mia managed a small smile, but her worry still lingered like a shadow. "I wish I could do more." "How about planting those flowers together? We could find a way to create a little garden for her. She used to love that," he suggested. "Nobody wants flowers from me now." Her voice was a whisper, trembling with doubt. A lump formed in Ethan's throat. That kind of sorrow is raw, real. "Trust me, she'd want every single one of them," he replied firmly. "Let's make this place a little brighter for her. It's not too late." Mia's smile flickered back, and for a heartbeat, the joy illuminated her face. "Yeah, we can do that. Then maybe I could tell her about the flowers while we're doing it. She always said I had a good way with words when it came to them." Ethan nodded, feeling the light of hope dance between them once more. "Then it's settled," he declared. "Let's turn this room into a little slice of paradise. Your mom will feel your love in every petal." Mia bit her lip, her hazel eyes sparking with determination. The lioness inside her was coming alive. "You're right. I'll pull out the gardening books and see what flowers we can get." As she dug through her purse, pulled out a notebook, and frantically scribbled a list of flowers, Ethan admired her spirit.
He thought about how she transformed in the face of adversity and how welcome the hope she clung to was. But as he listened to her, a deep ache remained. There was still so much uncertainty. Would it truly make a difference? Would love, even in the form of flowers, be enough to bridge the gap between life and death? Mia, he began cautiously, what if we also create little cards? You could write messages to each flower, something nice that she'd remember. Her head whipped around, eyes wide with wonder. That's brilliant! I could tell her how I remembered her laughter every time we planted flowers, or that day we got lost in the corn maze. Ethan chuckled softly, watching her excitement grow. Each laugh became a lifeline, pulling them closer to the surface of hope. But then, the beeping of machines reminded him of their harsh reality. Just as the weight of that reality felt overwhelming, a doctor stepped into the room, the flicker of hope around them dimming yet again. Mia, the doctor said, her tone serious but compassionate, we need to talk about your mother's condition. Ethan's heart sank. This was the moment he dreaded, the one where hope could shatter in an instant. He glanced at Mia, whose hands froze mid-scribble. Is she worse? Mia whispered, the fear creeping back into her voice. Let's discuss it in private, shall we? The doctor suggested, her gaze heavy with sympathy. Mia looked at Mia, searching his face for answers he didn't have.
Wait, she said, her voice shaking. I want to hear this. I need to. Ethan felt his heart racing. This was the moment they both dreaded, yet needed. Would this doctor bring more than just hard news? Would hope prevail? He looked into Mia's eyes, tethering himself to her courage. Whatever happens, Mia, we'll face it together. But even as he said those words, a heavy uncertainty weighed on him. What if the doctor's words crushed their fragile dream? The room seemed to close in around them, the air thick with anticipation. The truth was about to unfold, and neither of them knew if they were ready for it. The doctor took a breath, steadying herself before she spoke. Mia, your mother's condition has unfortunately worsened. We've done everything we can. The words hung in the air like an unwelcome shadow, creeping into the corners of the room, constricting the hope they had just begun to build. Mia's face fell, lips trembling as she looked to Ethan for strength. His heart had sunk alongside hers, the weight of sorrow almost palpable. He sensed the tremor in her voice prickling like static as she asked, "What do you mean? How much time?" The doctor hesitated, her expression pained. "We're recommending a palliative care approach to ensure her comfort. It's serious, Nia. We need to prepare for what's ahead." Ethan felt helpless. He wrapped his arm around Mia, pulling her close. Her body shook slightly against his as tears streamed down her cheeks. "No, it can't be," she whispered, pressing her fingers against her temple like she could push the awful news away. Mia's world was crumbling. Ethan wanted nothing more than to shield her from the inevitability of it all. Yet he knew they had to hold on to something, anything. "We can still do the garden," he breathed, though it felt inadequate. "Your mom would want you to keep fighting." "But what's the point?" She choked out each word like it was breaking her. "What's the use of flowers if she's not going to be here?" Ethan leaned back slightly, cupping her face in his hands, his thumb brushing a tear away. "Because she deserves to feel your love. You said that love breaks through silence. Isn't that what you want? To show her how much she means to you?" Mia's breath caught, the rush of air punctuated by a desperate moment of silence. Her eyes searched his, a flicker of understanding igniting as she nodded slowly. "You're right. I want her to know." The doctor cleared her throat, stepping out of the somber moment. "We will make sure she is as comfortable as possible. Would you like some time alone with her?" Mia's chest heaved as she wiped her cheeks, straightening up as a semblance of resolution snapped into place. She answered quickly, "Yes, please." The doctor nodded and stepped out, leaving them in a bubble wrapped in their emotional chaos. Ethan squeezed her hand, feeling the warmth beneath his palm. We need those cards to remind her of the love, the laughter, the light. Mia blinked quickly, gathering her thoughts, as determination shimmered in her eyes. "It'll make her smile. I want her to remember. It doesn't matter how much time we have. We can still fill it with love." "Exactly," Ethan said, relief flooding through him that she was finding her strength amidst the darkness. They were in this together. As they shared a quiet moment, the bustling sounds of the hospital hallway faded away. Only the faint beeping of machines remained. Ethan watched as Mia took a deep breath, then released it slowly, steeling herself for what lay ahead. "Mia," he said gently, "what flowers do you want to plant? We can find ones that will remind her of all the moments she cherished." A small smile broke through her facade. She always loved daisies, and the way sunflowers turn to face the sun, they remind me of her brightness. "Yes, we'll turn this room into a mini garden, full of life and love," he encouraged. The excitement between them felt like a lifeline they could hold on to. As they brainstormed into the evening, ideas filling the room with lighter air, the earlier heaviness began to lift. For a fleeting moment, hope flickered. But just as they were about to embrace that hope, the door swung open with the doctor's return. "Mia, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something important we need to discuss. It's about your mother and her wishes." Ethan's heart thumped in his chest again. The moment of truth was here, and his gut twisted with fear. Would this conversation bring them closer to understanding, or further entangle them in uncertainty? Mia's gaze flickered to the doctor, searching for reassurance, but finding only seriousness painted across the doctor's face. The doctor stepped fully into the room, the door clicking shut behind her. It felt final. The air thickened again, and Ethan could see the questions brewing in Mia's eyes. "What is it?" Mia whispered, her voice barely breaking the silence. The doctor took a moment, giving her a soft, encouraging smile. "I understand that this is an incredibly difficult time, and I don't want to overwhelm you. But your mother has expressed some wishes, things she would like to convey, things about her care and how she wants to spend her remaining time." Mia nodded, fear mixed with a sense of urgency. "What did she say? Tell me." Ethan could feel her pulse quicken, her body tense as she hung on every word. The doctor shifted her weight, looking at Mia intently. "She wants you to know that she loves you deeply, that no matter what happens, you should live your life to the fullest. She had some specific desires about her end-of-life care as well." Mia's breath caught in her throat, emotions swirling like a tornado. What did she want? Suddenly, the idea of flowers and gardening felt almost trivial. This was about more than decoration. It was about honoring her mother's wishes. The world shrank down to the small room, filled only with their shared grief and love.
"She wants no suffering, Mia. We can manage her pain with medication so she can be as comfortable as possible," the doctor explained gently. "But she also wants to be surrounded by people she loves. She values your moments together, Mia. You and your family." Mia's heart raced painfully in her chest. She felt the weight of it all, the decisions that lay ahead, the stark reality of mortality that threatened to overwhelm. Ethan instinctively took her hand again, his thumb tracing small circles on her palm. "You can do this," he said softly. "You'll be her voice, her strength." Mia's shoulders slumped just a fraction, the burden of it all crashing down harder. What if I can't? What if I fail her?" "You won't fail her," Ethan replied, his voice steady. "You'll do exactly what she needs. Love is your anchor, Mia. You don't have to carry everything alone." As the room filled with a tense silence, Mia took a moment to breathe. She had never felt more terrified, yet strangely empowered. It was true. Love always found a way to endure. Mia turned back to the doctor, determination flickering in her eyes. "What can I do, right now, to make her feel loved?" The doctor smiled at her resolve. "You can start by making her comfortable, maybe even sharing some stories. Let her know that you're there. Maybe you could take her favorite snacks, bring in some family photos, create an environment she loves." "Like a mini celebration," Ethan chimed in, excitement teetering on his voice. "Exactly," the doctor confirmed. "Create moments that matter." Mia felt the fragile pieces of her heart settle into place. "We'll give her those memories," she vowed, her voice stronger now. "We can do this together." As they planned, every aspect became clearer. The snacks, the flowers, the laughter she would bring back to her mother's room. Each detail felt like a lifeline, vibrant and full of purpose.
Just then, a soft knock came on the door. It opened slightly, revealing an older nurse who peeked in. "Excuse me, but your mother's awake and asking for you, Mia." Mia's heart flipped. This was it. She looked to Ethan, whose eyes shone with encouragement. "Are you ready?" he asked softly. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the rush of emotion swell within her. "More than ever," she replied, inching toward the door. But before she stepped out, she paused, the weight of their earlier conversation surfacing once again. "Do you think she's scared, Ethan?" He placed a reassuring hand on her back. "Maybe, but she has you, and that makes all the difference." As they walked out together, Mia felt a mixture of anxiety and hope. Each step led her closer to her mother, to the moments they would cherish forever. But deep down, a thought gnawed at her. She needed to talk to her mother about the things left unsaid. Should she bring up the difficult topics amidst the lightness they were creating?
The thought loomed large, heavy with emotion. What would her mother want her to be brave enough to address? Mia took a step through the door. The brightness of the hospital corridor washed over her like a wave. She could hear the soft hum of machines, the distant laughter of staff, yet her focus felt laser-sharp. Each heartbeat resonated like a drum, echoing her fears paired with fierce hope. She and Ethan reached her mother's room. The door creaked softly as Mia pushed it open, revealing her mother, pale but alert, lying in bed. Her mother's eyes, though dimmed by illness, sparkled when they met Mia's. That familiar warmth flooded back, igniting memories of carefree summers and whispered secrets. "Mia," her mother's voice was a soft caress, welcoming yet fragile. "Mom," Mia breathed, the tears she'd been fighting welling at the corners of her eyes. She approached, trying to keep her expression steady, though she could feel cracks in her facade. This was the moment. This was where everything mattered the most. "Ethan," her mother acknowledged him with a gentle smile, the edges of her mouth twitching upwards, a mother's instinct surfacing amidst the heaviness. Mia clutched her mother's hand, feeling its softness and fragility. "How are you feeling?" she asked, voice trembling with emotion. "I'm okay," her mother replied, each word weighing on them both. "I've been waiting for you." Mia nodded, squeezing her hand tighter. The air was thick with unspoken words, memories waiting to be shared. "I brought some things," Mia said, trying to make herself smile. "Your favorite cookies, remember? The ones with the chocolate chips?" A spark of recognition flickered in her mother's eyes. "I remember," she murmured, a smile breaking through the gravity of the moment. "You always knew how to cheer me up." Ethan stepped to the side, laying a small bag on the bedside table filled with cookies and family photos. "And we thought these could help," he said, pointing to the pictures. Mia's mother leaned forward, the effort seeming to sap her strength yet igniting her spirit. With each photo, the memories rushed back. Laughter at the beach, holidays swarming with loved ones, lazy afternoons spent on the porch. "Look at you two," she said, chuckling at a photo of Mia wearing bunny ears during an Easter feast. "Always so dramatic." Mia laughed, tears spilling onto her cheeks. "We worked hard on those outfits." She bit her lip, fighting against the wave of emotion threatening to drown her resolve. As they shared stories, joy flickered through the sorrow. But as laughter filled the room, a deeper question loomed, growing heavy on Mia's heart. What needed to be said? "Mom," she began, hesitating. Her mother tilted her head, sensing the moment of vulnerability. "There's something I've been meaning to ask you. About your wishes?" The smile on her mother's face softened into something more serious. "You can ask me anything, sweetheart." Mia felt the tremor in her voice, but pressed on. "What if there's more we need to talk about? What if I need to know how to best honor you?" Her mother blinked slowly, the weight of that echoing vulnerability palpable in the air. This was the precipice, where laughter met silence, and memories brushed against impending goodbyes. "I want you to live, Mia," her mother finally whispered, vulnerability shining through the tears in her own eyes. "That's all I've ever wanted." The gravity of that statement drew Mia closer, emotions spiraling towards something deeper. Could she face the unknown while trying to respect her mother's unspoken fears? Was she strong enough to navigate those turbulent waters? As Mia locked eyes with her mother, determination surged through her once more. This wasn't just about letting go. It was about embracing life, even amidst despair.
In that fragile embrace of love, an unexpected warmth enveloped them, and beneath the weight of heavy emotions, Mia felt a new understanding blossoming, one that beckoned her to uncover more. The connection between them sparked a new thought. What if the topics left unsaid weren't just for her mother, but for herself? And with that revelation looming in the air, she knew the next step wouldn't just be about lessons and loss, but a journey toward understanding life itself. What other secrets hid in this moment, waiting to blossom? Mia's heart raced as the silence after her mother's words echoed in her mind. The idea of living fully weighed heavier than all the unspoken words she craved to share. She glanced at Ethan, whose steady gaze offered her reassurance, but the uncertainty remained, a shadow lurking at the corners of her thoughts. "Mom," she whispered, the tremor in her voice returning. "What does that look like for me? Living?" Her mother considered her, brow furrowing. "It means finding joy in the small things, even when it feels impossible." I could feel my chest tightening. "But how do I do that without you? You've always been my anchor." Her mother shifted slightly, the effort visible, and Mia instinctively leaned closer. "You have your own strength, Mia. It's always been there. I know it." Warmth washed over Mia's heart. It coated the terrifying prospects of life without her, and for the first time she sensed a flicker of possibility. "What if I went on that trip we talked about?" Mia softening, as if testing the waters. "To the Grand Canyon." "Do it," her mother encouraged, a sudden spark in her eyes. "You should see it when the sun rises. It's breathtaking. Just like you." Mia laughed softly, feeling that warmth turn into something lighter. The beauty of that moment felt nearly tangible, each breath filled with hope and pain simultaneously. "I'll do it, Mom."
"I promise." In the meantime, her mother continued, squeezing Mia's hand ever so slightly, "Don't forget who you are. You are not just my daughter. You are brave, compassionate, and capable. Remember, life doesn't stop because of fear." A moment of silence stretched between them, thick with emotion. Mia felt as if time itself had paused, each tick of the clock urging her to cherish every second, every beat of love exchanged with her mother. "Can you tell me about those nights when you and Dad used to stargaze?" Mia asked, curious about the cherished memories she often felt were lost in the layers of time. Her mother smiled, her face softening with remembrance. "It was magic, Mia. Just lying in the backyard, surrounded by the quiet, counting stars." "What did you wish for?" Mia asked, almost breathlessly. "I always wished for happiness, for adventure," her mother confessed, the wistfulness in her voice laced with dreams and longing. "The kind that fills your soul and makes you see the beauty in everything, even during tough times." An inspiring kind of determination stirred in Mia. Her mother's wishes transcended into a seed that could take root and bloom, even in sorrow. Would she have the courage to face life, just like her mother? As the minutes flew by, they continued exchanging stories, weaving together pieces of their lives in that small hospital room. Laughter and tears mingled freely, creating a tapestry of shared memories and hopes. Suddenly, Mia felt the pull inside her to voice a fear that had knotted in her chest all evening. What if I can't honor you, Mom? What if I forget?" Her mother cupped Mia's face, her touch tender yet firm. "You carry me with you in all you do. You are my legacy. Just remember, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to cry. Embrace it, and then let it carry you forward." Mia nodded, sensing a wave of courage washing over her. In that moment, she realized that the path ahead wouldn't be just about loss. It would be about learning to live for herself, with her mother's love stirring beneath the surface like a beacon guiding her. The connection between them deepened, and Mia felt a thrill at the thought of stepping into life, filled with love and purpose. As silence settled, a new realization sparked in Mia's heart. "I want to also explore your dreams, Mom. What did you never get to do that you wanted? What adventures were left unfinished?" Her mother's eyes twinkled with surprise. "Oh, my sweet girl, there's so much more. That's a story for next time." Mia leaned closer, caught in the gentle web of hope and love. What incredible journey awaited them with every word shared, every moment lived. The future beckoned, revealing unknown paths and incredible adventures just waiting for her to explore. How would she step forward, weaving her own story along with the echoes of her mother's dreams? Mia took a deep breath, feeling the bittersweet balance of love and loss shift within her heart. The uncertainty of the future loomed, but so did the glimmers of hope. She had promised her mother she'd live for both of them. Now, with every word exchanged, that promise solidified like an unbreakable bond. "Mom, let's create a vision board. We can cut out pictures of places we've always wanted to visit, dreams we've kept tucked away," Mia said, her voice budding with excitement. Her mother's face lit up with a warm smile, each spark a reflection of pride in her daughter. "That sounds beautiful, Mia. I've always longed to see the northern lights with you, to feel that kind of magic in the air." Mia's heart raced at the thought. It was more than just a dream. It was a mission, a reason to celebrate life regardless of the challenges they faced. "Then we will. We will explore together, even if it's just in our imaginations for now." Tears glistened in her mother's eyes, but this time they held a shimmering quality of joy. "You, my dear, are the greatest adventure. Just remember, every step you take toward your dreams is a tribute to every moment we've shared." The weight of responsibility felt lighter, and hope infused Mia's soul. "Can we promise each other to dream big, even in difficult times?" she asked, sincerity woven into every word. "Absolutely," her mother replied, her voice warm and steady. "Promise me you won't be afraid to chase happiness. Keep that flame burning." With each promise they made, with every shared dream, the barriers surrounding them faded. The exchange wasn't just about loss. It was about celebration, too. A celebration of love, of life. As the conversation flowed, Ethan quietly observed, his heart swelling with admiration. He had witnessed Mia unearth her strength in the face of despair, and she inspired him to find his own courage. He stepped closer, feeling the urge to contribute. "Mia, have you thought about documenting these moments with your mother? Maybe through a journal or a video diary?" She paused, the idea glinting brightly before her. "I could. I want to capture these memories so I can revisit them forever." He nodded, feeling compelled to encourage her. "That's how we share stories, Mia. You'll have the gift of her words and strength with you forever." A bright smile stretched across Mia's face, igniting the room with warmth. "I want to interview you too, Ethan. You've become a big part of this adventure." Ethan felt the weight of those words settle deep inside. "I'd be honored, Mia." The afternoon melted into a soft glow as they dove into laughter and joy. They shared stories, both old and new, as Mia transformed her pain into a tapestry of love. "Mia," her mother said, her voice gentle yet resolute, "don't just write about me. Write about your dreams, too. This journey, every twist and turn, is yours to forge." Mia nodded, the inkling of bravery swelling within her. "I will, Mom. I'll capture everything. My dreams, our love, the flowers, even the laughter." With every passing moment, warmth bubbled beneath the surface of sorrow. The shadow of uncertainty remained, but it grew smaller as each dream was nurtured, blossoming into something more. As they sat together, hands clasped, hearts open, it became clear. Life was not just about survival. It was also about living fully, embracing every moment with love. But just as they found solace, the door creaked open again. A nurse peeked in, wearing a gentle smile. "I just wanted to check on you all. Is everything okay?" "Yes," Mia replied appreciatively as her mother nodded. "We're making memories." "That's wonderful to hear," the nurse said, offering a soft smile, before turning to Ethan. "Thank you for being here. It's amazing to see how supportive you are." Ethan's heart glowed with gratitude. He had stepped beyond the walls of his mansion and into a life where compassion breathed life into every action. "Thank you," he replied sincerely. "Being here has changed everything for me." The nurse nodded, understanding the deep connection they built within these walls. Keep fostering that love. It's what matters the most. As she exited, a stillness filled the air. Mia took a moment to savor the love that enveloped them, and she realized more than anything that family wasn't just defined by blood. It was about the bonds of support and shared dreams, the very stuff life was made of. "Together, we're unstoppable," Mia declared, a fierce determination shining in her eyes. "Yes," her mother replied, her spirit revived by Mia's energy. Ethan smiled, seeing their strength radiate through the room. "Let's do this, one day at a time," he affirmed,
ready to continue their journey, one step at a time. As they gathered around the small window, soaking in the last golden rays of the day, Mia felt the exhilarating rush of hope. They were stepping into the unknown, but they would do so rooted in love. And with every story shared, every laugh exchanged, their lives intertwined like roots of a grand oak, steadfast against the winds of change. "Here's to adventures yet to come," Mia said, raising an imaginary glass. "Here's to life," her mother echoed, beaming with pride. Ethan joined in with a grin, and here's to making every moment count. They held on to those connections, past, present, and future, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating their lives with vibrant colors, they felt the promise of a new beginning unfolding before them. Each moment was a step toward resilience, a testament that love could conquer all, paving the way for dreams yet to bloom. Mia would carry her mother's dreams forward, intertwining them with her own journey, and in that, they found the most beautiful notion of all. They would live, love, and dream together, now and forever. Now, before you go, don't forget this moment.
If you loved this story, you need to subscribe now to make sure you never miss out on our next heartwarming adventures. Hit that like button right this second to help us spread more love. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings on this ending. Comment below. And please, share this video with at least 5 friends who really need to feel this kind of transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second. Your support is what keeps these stories alive.